Welcome to another Memphis Monday. Today we're going to restore this cedar chest, which is just about the ugliest piece of furniture I've ever seen. Good morning. If you want to see how we restored this 1953 Lane cedar chest, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Well, good morning and welcome to another Memphis Monday 361, week 49 of year 7. Story is my buddy, he's seen a couple of our cedar chest restorations and builds and this and that. And he said, by golly, I got an old cedar chest from the early 1950s. Pretty sad shape. What if you take a look at it? And naturally I said yes, because it's a restoration and that's what I like to do. So I don't know exactly the extent of our troubles, but we got them, and we're not going to get them solved unless we do what? Yep, let's knock off the chit chat and get to work. Here we are back at the cedar chest. This was, I've already started putting paint stripper on it. And I got to thinking, I need to show you what the darn thing looks like before we start working on it. This thing is solid wood, it's got flared legs. I don't like the way they're in like this, but nothing I can do about it, I guess. It's got a pretty nice little latch. The latch actually works. I don't know what vintage this is. And then my friend, apparently, he had this old cedar chest and it was going in his daughter's room, and their school colors were white and gold, I guess. And so he fixed it up for her. And so this is white paint and with gold trim. Beyond stripping the old paint off. And all I have right now is a little low on strippers. I got some of this citrus stuff here. And I've never used it before. I just bought a small bottle because I don't know how it works. But the directions say you can you spread it on. It'll take off oil base and latex paint. You spread it on, and then sometime between an hour and 24 hours, you scrape it off. Its saving grace is that it does have this aromatic cedar lining it. And around the back, it's got more aromatic cedar for the back. But I don't think I think that cedar is just a liner. So I can kind of see a seam along here. Well, I just finished putting this stuff on, and the paint already seems like it's falling off. Look. Well, I think I won't even, I was going to let it sit for a few hours, but I'm just going to go ahead and start. Actually, with this stripper, this might be a takeaway. Sometimes letting it sit for a long time is not a good idea because it'll dry out. This is an alcohol-based product. This kind is anyway. And so it dries out. And when it gets dry, it's much harder to work with. So if you're lucky like we're getting here, let's go ahead and take it off. Well, as you just saw, the finish came off awful easy. It just stripped right off. There's no damage to the thing. And so we've got time to go the extra mile. And I made a prototype here. This is a prototype of the little tray, this little removable tray here that goes down in the thing. I just made this out of scrap. We'll make one that's real fancy and put felt down in it, and we'll dress this thing up real good. Well, I went ahead and put some stain on the blonde wood. I'm going to treat the inside with a combination, I think, of teak oil and cedar oil to bring back the aromatics. What we're going to do now, like I just said, is we're going to build us a little tray that goes up here. It folds down into the end of the piece. This is a prototype. I had a little bit of trouble figuring out how this thing works because I don't have the old tray. What was throwing me is this notch right here. I was expecting to hold the back. I was expecting a hole, a straight hole through there, but instead there's this slot. And it finally dawned on me is the reason there's a slot there is so you can take the tray out. So it just sits in that slot and it sits on this little platform here. See, what happens is it's connected there at the back, and then the bottom sits on that little platform, on that bracket. There's the bracket on the left side. When you're looking at this thing far away, you don't really see it, but when you get a close-up up here, you can see the problem here when I put this stain on there. This is called blonde wood, and this dark stain. Somebody's going to tell me in the comments, what an idiot! You don't put dark stain on blonde wood, and especially blonde wood that's been painted, because now I got this these streaks in it. I guess I can pretend I did that on purpose. But I can't really pretend I did this on purpose. Look how bad that looks. I'm hoping that's modified or mitigated some by when I put polyurethane on it. Okay, the bottom here will be coated or will be lined with felt. And I don't have enough felt right now. I'm going to have to go get some. The sides and the cross pieces here will be 2.5 inches. And I think I'm going to make the whole thing out of cedar. That will make it consistent with the rest of the interior. I have a cedar board here. I'm going to rip into 2.5 inch strips. Now, there are hundreds of species of cedar, and this is an aromatic cedar. It does have a cedar smell, but it doesn't look or smell like the stuff that's in the box. But I'll treat this with cedar oil, and it will have some smell to it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is do these 2.5 inch strips. I decided to stay with butt joints at the end because I'll be able to put the fasteners from the side and you won't see them. But I did go with the dado for this cross member here. And this thing all be, I've got to run it through the router and round over the edges. And then the bottom, go in just like this. Well, you saw me setting on my dado blade, and the reason is, you know, I plopped this thing down here and said we're going to put this on here. Well, we are, but we're not going to put it on this way. You know, if we just put it straight down on there, this edge here would be exposed, and our felt would be sticking out here, and it'd really look ugly. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a dado. We're going to put a dado along this inside edge all the way around, and it'll look something like this. And then our plywood bottom then will go in that dado like that. I don't know if this is safe, so don't try it at home. So now our bottom fits right down in that dado. And importantly, we'll be able to attach our felt to this bottom before we attach the bottom. And that way all our corners will be nicely tucked in. I'm just putting together with brads. The main strength is going to come from this bottom here. You know, it's going to give it a real gusting effect. This is a little cheat you can do if you don't want to go through the trouble of stop mortise. How this is supposed to work is you put the, not the stop mortise, but the stop rabbet. You come down here with the rabbet and then you stop before you blow out down here. And then you take it off the saw and you chisel that mortise, that rabbet, square right there. That's the way you're supposed to do it. If you want to cheat, you can do like I did and just blow all the way through it. Just go all the way through. And then you get some of the same wood. This is, you know, the same cedar as this. And you take that, you cut a little hunk of it, you can see it right there. You cut a little hunk of it with the end grain out and just glue it in that little hole. And then when you sand it and stain it and put varnish on it, you're not even going to see that. You could see it if you knew it was there, but you never noticed it. Okay, it's drama time. This thing doesn't belong to me. Guy gave it to me to fix up. And it looks like a blind man did it. Look at this. It looks like I didn't even take the paint off. Look at all these streaks and blotches. Up here is really bad. Okay, if we're living right, this thing will close now. Well, here's a tray we built. I put that felt down in the bottom. I just attached that felt directly to the that bottom piece of 3/8 plywood, and then attached it. Remember, we were looking at the installing that little plug in there. See what I mean about those little plugs being almost invisible? You'd never notice it was there. Well, it's the next morning. I went to edit that video. I couldn't even watch it. That thing was just too ugly. I'm not a perfectionist, but that finish was just too gross. So what I'm doing now is stripping this thing down and start over. I already stripped the paint off using some different kind of stripper. I used some high-powered stripper this time. See if that makes a difference. I think maybe that other stripper was leaving paint down in the grain. So I've already stripped that old finish off, and what I'm doing now is sanding. Well, instead of going with that real dark stain, I'm just doing it in natural. And so far it seems to be working. Tell you what, I'll go ahead and put stain on this thing, and we'll take a look at it. Well, finally, there's Memphis Monday 361. I think it's a lot better result. Finish is much better. I show you the close-up here. I still have to apply a bunch of polyurethane on it, but I need it to set for 24 hours before I put any poly on it. Well, that does it for this Memphis Monday. I think you saw there, trying to talk myself into, that finish was obviously screwed up, and I'm trying to talk myself into keeping it. But I'm giving that to a friend. I can't be giving him a piece of crap like that. So anyway, we got her fixed up. Next couple of days, I'll put some poly on it. I'll update you next week. Like, favorite, share, all stuff to you on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.